The modders have done it, my friends, and in record time, if you ask me. But yes, as so many of you have messaged me across my email, in our Discord channel, inside of the comment section, in my Twitter, on my Instagram, I do know that there is now a mod out that allows you to control your pets in Sims 4. Dun, 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 dun! That is what a lot of us have really wanted, and that is actually something that really surprised a ton of us that you couldn't do at all. And the results, they're kind of a mixed bag, but I am really enjoying being able to actually see what our animals are up to. So without further ado, let me kind of display some of the various things you can do with this very special new mod linked in the video description. Top of the video description, you should find the link and the credits to the mod author who has put so much work into making this available for us. And the results are pretty surprising, you guys, because there's actually quite a bit that you can already do with the controlling the pets mod that seems like it was there in the game all along. And it really addresses some of the things that I was finding just a little bit frustrating or confusing about being able to play The Sims 4 cats and dogs with pets. So what does it mean to control your pets with this mod? It means that you can, first of all, actually click on them. Oh, look at this. You can actually click on them. The plumb bob pops right over the top of their head, and you can see what your pets are up to, not only by using your very own 2 eyeballs and your powers of observation, but by actually mousing over the action. And I thought that was so helpful. I didn't even know there was something like dog talk, but now I know what my dog is doing. I can tell with my eyeballs that yes, my dog is talking to the other dog, but it's just very helpful for some of those more confusing things like, what is my cat up to? Well, Kitty is on top. Wow, what are you up to? As you can see, even with being able to control the animals, the antics and the mystery are definitely still there. That was adorable. Oh my gosh, we're doing backflips on top of the fridge. And that's really cute, but I might interpret that as my cat is just laying down on the fridge. But if we come over and look, my cat on its own came over because they are obsessed with the fridge. That makes a huge difference. I didn't know that this was a sign of obsession. Given enough time and just watching again with my eyes, oh, powers of observation are with us, I could have noticed that my cat has an obsession with the fridge. But there's something for me that just really helps to have that confirmation of being able to mouse over the dun-dun-dun little action that they're doing and realizing, hey, my cat loves the fridge. And I might affect my gameplay differently because of that. I might make up a story where my cat is obsessed with the fridge because it wants snacks and food inside. So maybe I'll come over and have my sim like make something that the cat could enjoy, make some homemade food for the cat. I think those kinds of little tweaks for your gameplay can be very, very helpful. So even if I like had nothing else I could do with this mod, I am so grateful that at the very least I can just mouse over, oh look, now this dog is trying to get comfortable. That helps so much. What is this dog up to? Who knows? He's just happy, probably because he was playing with Speckles. So they were clearly having a grand old time. What about the little puppy? What is the little puppy up to? Well, oh, no, that's the puppy. Okay. Well, excuse me. What is this dog doing? I can come on down. I see he's howling. Does it tell me anything specific? It's his playful idle trait. So he's howling and it's playful idle. So for me, that kind of makes me go, oh, maybe my puppy is bored. He's playful. He's doing his idle trait. Maybe he really wants to play. That changes everything. And I know for a lot of people that's unnecessary. You can just kind of guide and play and be played by the pets with the way that they can kind of manipulate what your Sims end up having to do because you're running around chasing after them, trying to make sure they're okay. But seeing that he's like interacting, being greeted by the little puppy, that helps so much with just watching and seeing their relationships as being more dynamic, even if I didn't have the amazing ability to click around and be able to tell my animals what to do. This is the part where I feel like it could go both ways. It could make your stories a lot more interesting. It could make the gameplay a lot less frustrating, or it could make it so that you feel like some of the charm and mystique that came with Sims 4 cats and dogs that we were starting to adjust to of not being able to have control over any of this is gone. So I would definitely say consider this an optional thing for one thing, but we could actually see right here. Now I see the dog is watching the owner. here? The dog's eyeballs. As our eyeballs are watching the dog, using those powers of observation, the dog is not looking at the owner. So I wouldn't interpret this as like, oh, I want to go follow my owner. But now that I know, hey, the dog was watching the human, I might send the dog inside to hang out with our human. And I can now do that by clicking around, and I can tell the dog where to go. Look at that. Isn't that so nice? Instead of having to make my sim stop. And really the problem that I kept finding with doing the whistle, you have to make your sim stop whatever action they're doing and then do the whistle, because there we go. And they will wait for the pet. And sometimes, you see, sometimes that works fine, but I've had a lot of glitches where that will result in my sim just having to stand in the middle of space. Like if we were way over here and called our dog over, then I've had issues where my sim just stands in space and just stares into space for like 2 hours waiting for the dog to trot all the way from over here over to the pier. And that's not quite what I want. So just being able to go, okay, Cinnamon the cat, or excuse me, I think the cat is just named Kitty. Why don't we go to the beach? And instead of my sim, what if my sim is like busy just doing their own thing and the cat has just been sitting on top of the fridge all day? You could play where the cat just continues to sit on top of the fridge all day, original vanilla style cats and dogs, and some people will really love that. I think there's merit to it with maybe different families and different stories, but this kitty wants to come over to the beach. So we can actually just click on the kitty and be like, you know what? I'm kind of feeling like doing something interesting while my human is being boring. I'm going to go off to the beach, and off they go. And then also something that a lot of people are finding very useful if you get stuck, and I saw Andrew Arcade actually mention this too, so you can see his video on this stuff too. Can Puppy greet the human? Puppy can initiate the introduction to the human. Look at that. See what I mean? Maybe you want to have a guard dog. And the guard dog is the one who would like come out and greet the human first, initiate the introduction, introduce themselves, maybe growl or bark at the human. Can we do that? Who knows? Oh, look, and here's another dog has come out, heard what Puppy was up to. Now we're introducing ourselves even more. Did we initiate the introduction? Maybe. Who knows? The dogs are talking. All right, so the welcome wagon's here. We have a dog over in the corner. And it's just very helpful. So that's kind of like just a little idea, some ideas of what you could do with this mod. Very helpful to have them go all over the place. You can tell them where to lie down. I've really wanted to have some really sweet little stories where my dog will climb up on the sofa with me or up on the bed with me. And I haven't been able to get him to do that. And I don't feel like it's really gameplay breaking just to take a moment to kind of be like, you know what, come up here. Because you can't really convince your sim unless you go and you kind of take time out of their day. It's just nice to have these kinds of little details. Yes, you could have your sim cuddle with your dog on the couch and then hope that they stayed there. But if you just want to have your dog kind of lay there and take a nap there, it's just very charming, very nice. I like it. So that's what you can just like do straight off the bat. Oh, are you guys interacting? Can you initiate some introductions? Okay, so it looks like we can't really initiate much of an introduction with the humans. Can we? Okay, so this guy's nervous about dogs. Now that we have, can we watch him? So now we can get comfortable and we can watch him. It doesn't seem like we can do anything with the people who come. And this is where we start getting into the limitations of what this mod can do as well. So it doesn't seem like all of the available interactions are here for us just yet. Like if I wanted to be aggressive to this guy and like, hey, what are you doing? Get off my lot. It doesn't seem like I can actually like be aggressive and I can actually do anything other than just stare into his eyes with my little beady dog eyes and try to intimidate him, which is a little bit of a pity because I would love to be able to have a guard dog that could just like tackle and growl at a human. It doesn't seem like that's in yet. I would love if that could possibly be in the future, maybe as a modded attribute. See, and now this lady likes dogs and it's going well. So once we finish introducing, now we can play with her. because we can playfully play with her now that we have these positive actions. So it seems like being able to have your dog chase a sim isn't really even something I've been able to do in Sims 4 Cats and Dogs. So just know that that is not going to be there. Also, really quickly to go through the UI, which is the user interface, the stuff down at the bottom, to kind of introduce you guys to what you can play with. Do not play with anything that you think you shouldn't, like the careers, the aspirations. You can see there's no skills assigned to them. And this is where we hit the drawback that is going to make me go, I still do not think that Sims 4 is appropriate for transferring a Warrior Cats adventure to. If you are a Warrior Cats fan and you are a fan of our Sims 3 long-running Warrior Cats series, you know how amazing that story series can really go. But if you look, you cannot see relationships with other pets. The pets have been playing together all day. You cannot see relationships with other pets inside of the relationship category. I did see Andrew Arcade over on his YouTube channel earlier try to set up a club with pets, and it crashes the game. So you can't make like a club, and I was really hoping that was something you would be able to do with pets. Who knows? Maybe it'll be something that is modded in the future, because I really thought it would be fun if you had like maybe a group of stray cats versus a group of stray raccoons or something like that, where they were a little bit hostile to each other. But no, you cannot set up things for the animals to be able to do in a club, at least as far as I know yet. It causes everything to crash. I have no idea what happens if you mess around with the inventory. If you can drag things in or out of the inventory is still a mystery to me. Like, can we open this up and just like, okay, so you can't put anything inside of the puppy's inventory. That's another thing. What I do think is very helpful is that you can see their traits a little bit easier instead of having to go to a sim and look in their relationship panel. And this is something I desperately wanted to have available from the get-go, that the lack of really kind of upset me. And that's the fact that here we actually have a pet family tree. So it already exists. It doesn't need to be created. It exists right here. It's not like you have to go out of your way to design it. This is how you could have the pet family tree, and you could actually follow along with how many animals your pets have had, how many babies they've had, how many generations you've had. That's really important to me. I feel like, especially with my style of gameplay, I need to have a family tree for my Sims and my pets. So that's actually between being able just to do little tiny things, like actually see, like, what's my cat up to right now? I don't know, it just looks like he's walking on the beach. But if I look, he's standing and watching. So I might interpret it as like, was he watching Mayor Whiskers walk by? Was he watching these birds? We can have him attack the flock. I think that's very fun. However, that brings up another point for those of you who are waiting for my verdict on if warrior cats could happen in Sims 4. There is no hunting in Sims 4, guys. There's no hunting. We can send him over. He can attack the flock, and the birds get to fly away. And then he actually gets to go ahead and pick up some feathers. So that's really cool. And now he's going to take his feathers back to his owner. But there's no prey for warrior cats, quote unquote, to be able to collect. You know what I mean? And I really feel like that still lands my verdict very hard on the side of no, Sims 4 is not an appropriate game in which to put warrior cats. I also feel because they're, oh my... Well, somebody's feeling flirty. Oh, and they're thinking about babies right on my front doorstep. Y'all can just, like, take that somewhere else. But, yeah, you're not wanted here, Breely. But as you can see, we played with all of that, and now he brought home a bunch of feathers, and now our cat is just going to run around. I love that. I wasn't sure, is my cat upset? Is he scared? Is he nervous? No, he just is hyper, and he just wants to run around outside because he's feeling frisky. So being able just to do little things like mouse over and see what the action is means a lot, even if this wonderful, beautiful kitty cannot end up becoming a hunter, because there's nothing in the Sims 4 for the animals to be able to hunt. So I'm actually going to be doing a full video on warrior cats versus Sims 3 and Sims 4 and my thoughts on it. But I just wanted to show you guys that there are a few really amazing things with this mod, including the ability to go ahead and you can click on the dogs and tell them to, like, go to the bathroom. We could tell him, go potty right now. Stop interacting. And what's interesting is, look at this. Apparently, all of the animals can actually interact together in groups. So they can do group interactions, and that just blew my mind. I was so excited because it was so surprising. I think that we have the same gender here, so I'm not sure. Oh, Riley! look at that. We have some flirty flirts going on here. And see, you can see Riley's actually feeling flirty. That's very interesting. And we can talk, we can play. Look, and you can do so many things between different dogs. I really love this. You could bark at the other dogs. You could friendly chase. You could nuzzle. You could sniff butts. I didn't know that was a thing. You could play in all of these different types of play. I love that. You could come down, you could play with the little puppy, which I think is really fun. There's tons of different varieties of friendly, look at the puppy get his little tail, of friendly interactions the animals can do together. The cats can come over and they can like hostile chase or be mean to the dogs, or just like talk to each other so they get to know each other a little bit. That helps a lot because the animals, I find, especially mostly the cats, don't really interact much together normally. Again, that's actually how they are in real life. And for some people, that'll be just fine to just sit back and only kind of watch the cats interact when they want to. For other people, it might be fun just to have the option. It doesn't always have to be something you use, but I think it makes a big difference just to have the option to be able to be like, hey, why don't you sniff it? Look, the dog literally got right up in your face. Instead of going to investigate the toilet, why don't you go ahead and see what the dog's up to? So I think those sort of traits are going to be very helpful. I do think it's also very interesting for the pets to have both bladder and bowel needs. So they need to go pee and they need to go poop, to be completely blunt about it. They also have affection, play, energy, and hunger. It just is so helpful to be able to see all of the needs that the animals have. And yes, we could say, well, you know, you can't see your pet's needs in real life, but you can't see other people's needs either. But I can come over here and tell that our little sim here is going to need to go to the restroom pretty soon. So it's pretty useful. Don't do clubs. Don't have your dog own a vet office. That's not how it works. I haven't seen the option to be able to go ahead and mate. That's the other thing. You still need, it looks like, possibly a human to be able to come over and be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and try mating with that other dog or cat and cat? So it doesn't seem, or they just would have to mate on their own completely, like autonomously, like we've had happen to our shock elsewhere. So that's another thing that you can, that kind of like, it's helpful, but I don't think it's going to carry you all the way through the way that people are expecting for the amount of control and the amount of story building that you can do with the Sims 3 pets versus the Sims 4 pets. This definitely helps, mostly to be able to understand what's happening with all of the animals. Like, what are they doing? Are they just hanging out? Are they having, like, the cat is investigating the toilet? Maybe it wants to go and play with water. That helps me for telling stories. But when it comes to doing things like we used to do in Sims 4, where we could really, like, micromanage the relationship between the animals, that's still just right on the edge. You can do it a lot more now by having them play together, but it doesn't look like you can make them mate together without the human being involved, like the sim being involved and telling them or waiting for them to do it on their own. And for those of you who keep going, warrior cats in Sims 4, there's no inventory available here. You have no idea what relationships are between the pets. There's nothing to hunt, and there's a few other features, pretty dramatic ones, that I'm going to discuss in the difference between The Sims 3 and The Sims 4, and why, even though this mod is amazing, I don't think this is the appropriate place for trying to pull off that kind of series. So I'm actually going to make a whole video kind of breaking it down and possibly diving back into our Sims 3 Warrior Cat series, but I think I'm going to keep this. I think that this mod really helps. I don't really want to micromanage my pets that much. I still love the randomness and the freedom of their behaviors, but as you can tell, they're doing whatever they want. And I'm just occasionally stepping in to go, hey, why don't you lay on the couch? Or why don't you go down to the beach? And then the pet continues to do whatever the heck they want. So I think that that's very helpful. And I think being able to see their needs is very helpful. Like a lot of people have said, like, oh, I don't want to be able to see their needs because I can't see my real pet's needs. That's fine. Then if you just want to be able to see what they're doing but not their needs, just don't even open up the need panel. But I find it just very helpful because then it helps me, especially at this early stage of cats and dogs, learn how to better take care of my animals. So, oh, what's going on here? See? You can't even see what he's up to. And what are you up to? So now what does he want to do? He just wants to get comfortable. And they're just sitting near her. So they just want to be near her. That's so cool. And what's my cat doing? Cat's busy grooming self. That's pretty cool too. You can also find objects because he's a prowler, or walk around something, or stand and watch, or sleep, or yell, which is pretty cool. And depending on the different traits, if we do hairy trait, then he'll actually scratch and leave behind some fur. So I do think that that is pretty funny too. Lays, we could go potty, we could send him out to be a hunter. If you select hunter, then he's off. He's off. It's like you told him to go and find something. I also think that degree of control is pretty fun. So it's all up to you. If you want to have your sim micromanage sending your dog out to go hunt things, you can. And if you want to just tell your dog, hey, why don't you go look for stuff? You can't. Look, he's investigating the mailbox, trying to find us something. Oh my goodness. But all right, so that's kind of my overview of what we have going for this mod. I love it. It does not, however, transform The Sims 4 into The Sims 3. There's still some things missing, especially relationship between the pets, which I think is very interesting. And you really can't make the pets as aggressive. Like, you can do a little bit of hostile chasing amongst the pets, but not with the humans. And there's just a few other things that I feel like are missing to make this like the warrior cats experience. And I just wanted to repeat that because that's what everybody has been like, now that you can control the pets, do the warrior cats. But there's no food for our wild cats, guys. There's nothing out here. There's nothing out here to hunt. So they can't even fish. So we may talk more about that in another video where I will go over everything. But like I said, in the video description, you will find a link and credit to the person who has created this mod. Thank you so much to all the people who have suggested it to me. Let me know what you think about it. Is it a little bit too overpowered to add into our live streams and our gameplay? Or do you think it offers just enough awesome insight to really make you feel like the pets are members of the family? Because I can honestly say I feel less like they're decorative objects and more like they're family members when I can kind of get inside their brains, just like I can get inside my Sim's mind and understand her needs and her motivations. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.